Okay, last week I showed you rough turning this urn. This week I'm going to show finish turning. This thing has been drying for about 10 weeks. So what have we got left? Well, a couple of things. I've got to true up the opening for the collar I'm going to add for the threaded top. I've got to finish sanding it. Before I can do this, I've got to true up the tenon, and then once we get trued up, mount it chuck and mount the threaded collar and top in it, I've got to come back and remove this tenon. Then I got to finish it, and I think I'm going to dye it. The walls are pretty thin. Let me give you an example. See that distance, but it's a thickness of no more than a quarter of an inch, which is my final thickness. So that's the good news. I don't have to return the inside or the outside. The bad news is, because it has gone a little bit oval, I don't have an opportunity to get it round and be able to put a textured band on it like I might have thought about doing. But I'm planning on bleaching this and then dyeing it. So I'll show you those steps. Hi, I'm Mike Peace. I'm passionate about wood turning, and I want to share with you tips, tricks, and techniques to help you become a better turner. If this is what you're interested in, please click on the subscribe button so you won't miss any future videos. Okay, in order to true this up, I've got to mount the opening toward the headstock. I turned a simple friction drive that will fit inside the throat of my urn to help center it if I decide to do any embellishing here, which I'm still thinking about. But I can also use it with a stubby Morse center using my Nova Live system. I can put this in the headstock spindle and use it as a drive center. But to keep it from wood on wood and possibly burning this thing, I'm just going to put a little bead of hot melt glue around the edge here, just to give it a little resistance and a little friction. Alright, now since I made this driver, that urn has shrunk a little bit, and this will no longer fit in that opening, so I've got to take it down just a bit. I'm going to bring up tailstock support and then just take this down just a little bit. So I'm simply going to use this 1/4 inch parting tool and then take down just a little bit here. I got the speed up to about 2,000. I'm going to taper it just slightly. See if that'll fit. And that fits good. So the key is going to be that hot melt glue that'll give it some friction. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, mount it between centers, and I can tell from the marks here I've got just a little bit of room between those jaws to true it up. I just want as good a fit as I can possibly get. I'm going to use my larger beading and parting tool. This does have a slight dovetail, so to get that dovetail, I'm just going to turn this, instead of being flat where the top is at 12 o'clock, I'm going to just lean the handle in just a little bit toward me as I rotate it up just a little bit. I want to get it up to about 1,000. Got a little vibration. Okay. And here we go. Okay, that's cleaned it up a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to remove this and substitute my power grip jaws. So let's use the knockout bar. I'm going to use my large jaws with the largest, strongest jaws I've got, the power grip jaws. And we'll I'll just kind of line those up a little bit. And just hold it flat while I snug it up. Nice and tight. Now I want to see how true it runs. So I'm just going to turn the speed down here. It's off a little bit. So this shape's going to need to be trued up as well. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that first. So that's where we'll come back in and use that drive in the tailstock this time. Instead of a driver, we're going to put it in the live center and just use it to support this. So I will put that on there. Put that in my... Alright. Now just snug it up a little bit, and that's looking good. I know the thickness in here is good enough so I can change that shape without too much problem. So I'm going to use a spindle gouge and come in here and just bring it in, and just like a little cove, and come up on both sides. Now from the other direction, cutting downhill. Up. Nice and deep on one side, not as much on the other. I'm going to have to change this profile just a little bit here. Put a little bit of a chamfer on it. Okay, it's got a nice chamfer. It shows all the way around. I like that. A little sanding will take care of blending these lines a little bit. Right in here especially. Have to blend that line with some power sanding. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And now I've got to open this up a little bit. So here's the collar I'm going to fit. It's going to fit on that top that's already been threaded. Let me put that in a safe spot. And we're going to take this just a little bit at a time. Looks like I probably need about 1/8 of an inch on each side, but of course it's not going to run perfectly true. So I'm going to use a box scraper to bring that wall down parallel wall. Okay, let's take out this, come in here and just square this up. I'm looking for this side here to be this angle to be parallel with the bedway, and we're just going to come in there and just do a little bit at a time. Stop and trial fit regularly. So I only have one chance at this. Okay, getting real close. I want a nice mechanical fit where the glue will hold it. Okay, I've got a nice snug fit. Let's see how flat this top will fit on it. Ooh, I brought this in more than I wanted to. I may have to change this shape of this lid and bring it in because I want a band around the edge here. And it doesn't quite fit flat, so I've got to come out here and recess this in a little bit. So I think the first thing I've got to do is reshape this lid a bit. So let me figure out how I'm going to hold this. What I do is open up my bottom drawer of various glue blocks and threaded glue blocks and try to find one that I think might come close to fitting, and that one's pretty close. So I'm just going to take this and rethread it. Take the urn with the chuck off the lathe. Since I got it running true, and I'm not going to use this chuck for this operation, I'll just keep these two mated together running true. Already threaded for 16 threads per inch, but the hole's too small. These threads are 10 threads per inch, so all I got to do is just take it down a bit. Okay, it needs to be a little bit smaller than that, so I'm going to come down about, maybe 2 millimeter. I'm going to take this, again, this box scraper, just come down here to clean up these threads a bit. And I think that's just going to be just about perfect. I need to cut recess in the back. Here. Open up that recess. Make sure this is at the right height, which I think it is. Got to chamfer the end there just a bit. Let me find my point tool. Okay. Slow this down to maybe 250 or so. Angle strike. Oh yeah. Okay, so now I can reshape this and figure out just how far I want to reshape it. I want at least a 1/4 inch on each side. Okay, which means, wow, I've got to cut quite a bit off of this. Now I've got it round, now I've got to think about where a bead might, or do I want to put an OG on here? I don't know, maybe the best thing to do is actually put it on the urn and see what it looks like before I get too carried away. Alright, so I put this on here and I think I want to bring this curve up a little bit, a little higher, and then put a little bead right about here. Now, something I'd forgotten, there's a little step here. I need to make a little bit of step recess so this will fit flush. So I've gone ahead and measured the outside of that with dividers and given myself just a little bit of room there. And so now I'm going to mark that right here and then take it in just a little bit. And that looks pretty close. And just come in there just about a 1/8 inch. We got this squared up. And just take a little bit at a time. Okay, Okay, so now we can see that'll actually fit flush, and now I want to come out here. I'll mark it with a pencil. I just want to come just outside. Just about have those joined. Okay, I think that'll hold it. Now we're gonna use our 60-degree cone center. Put this on here. We've still got our original live center mark. I'm going to use some of this chroma wood dye. I'm going to use black, and I'm just going to put it on at a very slow speed, 50. Probably got a little too much. Let me get a rag. Actually, I probably don't have to worry about it being too much because I'm going to sand this back, but I'm going to go ahead and spread it out a little bit. And this has some nice figure in it because of some branches, so I think that's going to pick up the dye real well. So let's give this just about 5 minutes to dry. Then I'm going to come back with some 320. Take it down a little bit, and then we will add probably some red to it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turning this thing at 50 RPM, just take it down just a little bit, at 320. Now let's try some red. We're just going to rub that out a little bit. Now we're going to just use a little blue concentrate, very heavy. Okay, now that I've got this lathe colored, now I'll show you a clip the end with the antique oil on it, but we're going to use this as a dry center using that short Morse taper, stubby Morse taper. I've got this where it just clears the inside. Now we can bring up the tailstock support. And I'm going to use this cone center just because it makes it easy for me to get close, and it'll give good enough pressure here. I don't think it's going to move it with the grain. So now we're going to get the tool rest in place. Let's see how close it runs. It runs fairly true. And I think because it's in grain, I think I'm just going to use some peeling cuts with a small bowl gouge. I'm going to take very light cuts. I've got a lot of thickness in the bottom, so I'm going to slightly concave it so it'll sit comfortably on the outside rim, so it won't rock, even if there's some movement, which is not likely to happen. When I get it down to maybe 1/4 of an inch, I'm going to take a small, thin flush cut saw and part it off.